Welcome to my channel, and today we shall talk about 10 shocking facts about Roman emperors that will make you question everything you know about them. So let's get started. Number 10. Caligula chained women to chariots like horses. Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula, was born in 12 and died in 41 AD. He is said to have chained women to his chariot like horses and whipped them while they pulled him around. This might sound unbelievable, but there are a few sources from that time that describe how he chained two women together by their hair and used them as horse. The women were bald for the rest of their lives because of this abuse. There's also an ancient Roman fresco depicting the same scene. It shows a man holding a whip while two scantily clad women are harnessed to a chariot like horses. Although we can't be certain who exactly the man in the painting is supposed to be, given the fact that there are other similar depictions of Caligula in art, it is highly likely that this is him. The most intriguing part is that we do not know if this was just a hobby for the emperor or if it was something more. But historians believe that it was just another one of his many sexual conquests. Number 9. Nero put his own mother on a boat with a life sentence. Nero was an infamous Roman emperor who ruled from 54 to 68 AD. His mother, Agrippina the Younger, had an affair with her brother while married to the previous emperor, Claudius. She gave birth to Nero when she was only 17 years old. As soon as Nero took the throne, he began planning with his grandmother, Julia Maesa, how to kill Agrippina. They were successful on the 9th of June, 59 AD, when they sent a boat to fetch her from her vacation. Once she was on board, they locked her inside with a life sentence. Then they set sail for the island of Pandateria, where they planned to leave her for dead. But the next morning, they discovered that she had committed suicide by swallowing poison. Number 8. Commodus chained women to chariots like horses. Marcus Aurelius Commodus, Antoninus Augustus, was a Roman emperor between 177 and 192 AD. Historians say that he hosted chariot races in the Circus Maximus and chained women to chariots like horses, whipping them as they pulled him around. Apparently, he did this because he enjoyed the look of terror on their faces. Another disturbing fact about Commodus is that he allegedly dipped his bread in blood instead of oil or vinegar, which was customary at the time. He also chained prostitutes to chariots like horses, whipping them as they pulled him around. This must have been some kind of twisted sexual conquest for the emperor. Unfortunately, our sources for Commodus's biography are quite unreliable. Most of what we know comes from the writings of Cassius Dio, who clearly had a disdain for the last Antonine emperor. Number 7. Elagabalus chained women to chariots like horses. Publius alias Elagabalus Autolicianus was born in 218 and died in 222 AD. He was the first adolescent emperor of Rome. His mother, Julia Maesa, put him on the throne when he was only 18 years old. Unfortunately, he quickly grew tired of being an emperor and spent his days racing chariots with his friends. According to historian Cassius Dio, he chained women to chariots like horses, whipping them as they pulled him around. This is quite disturbing since it is not known if these women were volunteers or if they were kidnapped and forced to do it against their will. Number 6. Caligula chained men to chariots like horses. Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus was a Roman emperor from 37 to 41 AD. He was known for his wild parties, orgies, and sadistic pleasures. In one instance, according to historian Suetonius, Caligula chained men to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. We don't know why he did this, but it was probably just another one of his many sexual conquests. Interestingly enough, Caligula wasn't the only Roman emperor who chained women and men to chariots like horses. It seems like it was quite a popular pastime for them. But I guess it makes sense given the fact that chariots were used for transportation back then, and maybe they just couldn't find anyone else to do it. Number 5. Hadrian chained women to chariots like horses. Titus Flavius Hadrianus Caesar was born in 76 and died in 138 AD. He was known for his love of chariots and horses. In one instance, according to historian Cassius Dio, Hadrian chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. He also chained chariots to chariots and whipped them as they pulled each other. It seems like Hadrian was quite the sadist. On the other hand, it could just be a misinterpretation of what actually happened. You see, in ancient Rome, there were chariot races and charioteers were very popular. It's possible that Hadrian simply participated in these races or that he watched them with great enthusiasm. But unfortunately, our sources for Hadrian's biography are quite unreliable, so we can't be certain of what really happened. Number 4. Heliogabalus chained women to chariots like horses. Publius Aelius Heliogabalus Autolicianus was born in 218 and died in 222 AD. He was the son of Emperor Elagabalus and Julia Maesa. When his father died, Julia Maesa placed him on the throne. Unfortunately, he grew up to be a spoiled and sadistic teenager. According to Cassius Dio, Heliogabalus chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. He also chained men to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him along. It seems like this was quite the pastime for the young emperor. However, it is possible that these stories are exaggerated or completely made up. You see, most of what we know about Heliogabalus comes from the writings of Cassius Dio, who clearly didn't like the young emperor. It is possible that he wrote these things about Heliogabalus to make him look bad. Number 3. Caracalla chained women to chariots like horses. Lucius Septimius Geta Caracalla was born in 188 and died in 217 AD. He was the son of Emperor Septimius Severus and Julia Maesa. When his father died, Caracalla took the throne with his younger brother, Julia Maesa. Unfortunately, he grew up to be a cruel and merciless ruler. According to Cassius Dio, Caracalla chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. He also chained men to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him along. It seems like this was quite the pastime for the young emperor. But again, it is possible that these stories are exaggerated or completely made up. Number 2. Septimius Severus chained women to chariots like horses. Publius Septimius Geta Severus was born in 146 and died in 211 AD. He was an emperor of Rome from 193 to 211 AD. At the time, Rome was under the threat of an invasion from the north by the Germanic tribes. So Severus decided to focus on strengthening the defenses of the empire. He built new walls around Rome and stationed troops along the borders. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to see the completion of his projects as he died in 211 AD. According to Cassius Dio, Septimius Severus chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him around. He also chained men to chariots like horses and whipped them as they pulled him along. Again, it is possible that these stories are exaggerated or completely made up. And finally, number 1, Marcus Aurelius chained women to chariots like horses. Titus Aurelius Fulvus Antoninus, better known as Marcus Aurelius, was born in 121 and died in 180 AD. He was the last of the 5 good emperors. During his reign, Rome experienced peace and prosperity. Unfortunately, Aurelius was also a big fan of chaining women to chariots like horses and whipping them as they pulled him around. It is not clear why he did this, but it was probably just another one of his many sexual conquests. What is interesting, though, is that Aurelius wasn't the only Roman emperor who chained women to chariots like horses. It seems like it was quite a popular pastime for them. But why? Why would a powerful and wealthy man like an emperor need to chain women to chariots like horses and whip them as they pulled him around? Well, there are a few possible explanations. One is that these women were sex slaves and the emperor was simply exercising his dominance over them. Another is that the emperor was getting a kick out of seeing the terror on the women's faces as they pulled him around. Finally, it is possible that this was just a way for the emperor to have some fun. After all, chariots were used for transportation in those days, and maybe the emperor just couldn't find anyone else to drive him around. So what do you think? Were these Roman emperors just having some fun, or were they sadistic jerks? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.